My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 78 years old. My wife has been gone for 6 years now, and I've learned something too late that still keeps me awake some nights. Silence can destroy a marriage, and it doesn't make a sound while it's doing it. I'm not telling this because I need forgiveness or understanding. I don't expect either. I'm telling it because there isn't much time left for me, and this truth has been sitting in my chest for decades. It feels wrong to carry it any further. At my age, the days are quiet whether you want them to be or not. The house makes small noises I never noticed before. The refrigerator hums, the clock clicks, the wind moves the trees outside the kitchen window. None of those sounds answer back. I talk out loud sometimes, just comments, things like, "That's about right," or "I forgot again." No one hears it. I don't mind most days, but it reminds me how much of my life I spent not saying things when there was someone there to hear them. People assume you know when a marriage is failing. They imagine shouting, slammed doors, harsh words that can't be taken back. That wasn't us. We didn't fight much. That's what I used to say, almost proudly. "We don't fight," I'd tell people. "Never have." I thought that meant we were doing something right. I met my wife, Eleanor, when we were both 24. She worked the front desk at a small insurance office downtown. I had just been hired as a junior accountant at a manufacturing firm a few blocks away. We met because I spilled coffee on her shoes one morning while rushing into the elevator. She laughed, not politely, really laughed. That should have told me something about her right there. She was easy to laugh, easy to talk to. She had opinions about everything: music, politics, the way people treated waitresses. She liked conversation, she liked connection. I liked order, schedules, predictability. I liked things that stayed where you put them. We balanced each other, at least that's what it felt like at the time. When we married 2 years later, we didn't have much. A small apartment, secondhand furniture, a chipped dining table someone had left by the curb. We ate most meals at that table. Eleanor talked through every one of them. She talked about her day, about people she'd met, about things she'd read, about ideas she had for trips we might take someday. I listened, mostly. I thought listening was enough. I was raised in a house where you didn't talk about feelings. My father worked. My mother kept the house running. They spoke about logistics, bills, schedules, repairs. Anything else stayed unspoken. That was normal to me. So when Eleanor asked questions that didn't have clear answers, I didn't know what to do with them. "What do you want out of life, Harold?" she asked once while washing dishes. I shrugged. "A good job, a stable home, that kind of thing." She waited. I could feel it. The pause stretched. "And," she said, "I didn't have anything else. Or maybe I did, but I didn't know how to reach for it." So I said nothing. She dried her hands slowly on a towel. I remember that part clearly. She nodded like she'd accepted something, but I didn't know what. Over time, my career grew. Promotions came. Responsibilities stacked up. I worked late more often, brought home paperwork, thought about numbers while we ate dinner. Eleanor noticed everything. She always had. "You're not really here," she said one evening, not angrily, just stating it. "I'm here," I replied without looking up from the table. She didn't argue. She just went quiet. I thought I'd won something in that moment. I thought silence meant the problem was over. That's the mistake I kept making. Silence isn't peace, it's absence. Years passed like that. We had 2 children, a boy and a girl. Eleanor was a good mother, present, attentive. She went to school events, remembered birthdays, asked questions. I provided. That's how I saw it. I paid the mortgage. I kept the lights on. I planned for college. I told myself that was love, expressed responsibly. But love isn't only about what you prevent from falling apart. It's also about what you build between two people, day by day, with words. Eleanor tried to talk to me about that, not in big speeches, in small ways. She'd say things like, "I miss you," even though I was sitting right there, or, "I don't feel like you know me anymore." I answered those comments with logic. "I'm right here," I'd say, or, "That's not true," or, "Things are fine." I thought reassurance meant correction. What she needed was recognition. I see that now. There were moments I could have changed things. I know that because I remember them. They come back uninvited sometimes, usually late at night. Once, after the kids were grown and out of the house, she sat at the edge of the bed and said, "Do you ever wonder who we are to each other now?" I could have asked what she meant. I could have told her I'd wondered too. I could have admitted I was scared of the quiet between us. Instead, I said, "We're married." "What do you mean?" She looked at me for a long time. Not angry, just tired. "Never mind," she said. I let that be the end of it. I was good at letting things end without understanding them. Eleanor began filling her life elsewhere. She joined a book club, volunteered at the library, took long walks by herself. I encouraged it, or at least I thought I did. "It's good you're keeping busy," I said. What I meant was, "I don't know how to meet you where you are." We didn't argue. We didn't threaten divorce. We didn't slam doors. We just slowly stopped reaching for each other. The damage wasn't loud. It was patient. Then came the doctor's appointment, the one that changed everything. Eleanor had been tired, losing weight. She brushed it off for months. I didn't push. That's another silence I regret. By the time we had answers, time had already been taken from us. Cancer is a word that empties a room. Everything else falls away when it's said. Plans, assumptions, small grievances you thought you had time to revisit. During her illness, I spoke more than I ever had before. I told her I loved her. I told her she mattered. I told her she wasn't alone. She listened. She always did. One night, near the end, she said something I wasn't prepared for. "I wish we'd talked like this sooner," she said, her voice thin but steady. I nodded. I couldn't trust my voice. "We had so many quiet years," she continued. "I kept thinking one day you'd wake up and see me standing right in front of you." I told her I saw her now. She smiled gently. "I know," she said. "I just wish it hadn't taken this." She died holding my hand. That part people say is beautiful, and it is in a way, but it doesn't erase what came before it. One moment of closeness doesn't make up for decades of distance. After she was gone, the silence in the house changed. It wasn't just quiet. It was final. There was no one left to misunderstand, no one left to disappoint, no one left to fail in small, invisible ways. There was also no one left to talk to. I went through our old things slowly. Papers, photos, books she'd underlined, notes she'd written in the margins. She'd been thinking all along, feeling all along, reaching all along. I just hadn't met her halfway. Some losses don't announce themselves when they happen. They show up later, when there's nothing you can do about them. You can't go back and speak into moments that have already passed. You can't correct a pattern once the person it affected is gone. That's the part people don't tell you about regret. It isn't always dramatic. It's dull, heavy. It sits with you while you make coffee, while you fold laundry, while you wait for sleep. And if you're listening to this and there's someone in your life who keeps trying to talk to you, really talk. I hope you don't do what I did. Not because you're wrong or broken, but because silence feels safer than it is. I thought staying quiet prevented conflict. I thought it kept things stable. What it did was slowly make me a stranger to the person who knew me best. You don't have to have perfect words. You don't have to solve everything. Sometimes speaking is just saying, I don't know how to say this, but I want to try. I wish I had known that sooner. I don't have many years left. That's just the truth of it. I spend my days simply now. Walks, reading, watching the light move across the floor. I talk to Eleanor sometimes in my head. I tell her things I never said out loud. She doesn't answer, of course, but saying them still matters to me. If this meant something to you, maybe let it sit with you for a while. That's all. I'm Harold Bennett. I'm 78 years old, and this is the truth I carry with me into whatever time I have left.